Top 10 Britain's Got Talent Biggest Scandals That Will Shock You. The Britain's Got Talent show, which first aired back in 2007, has had its fair share of talent displays, but it hasn't lacked when it comes to controversies as well. In this video, we will be taking a look at some of the most shocking of these controversies and scandals. Some of them will make your jaw drop, so make sure to watch until the end. The first BGT scandal, widely considered to be the biggest ever scandal in the history of the show, happened back then in 2015, involving contestant Jules O'Dwyer and her pet dog. She, who was crowned winner of the talent show that year, tricked the audience by using another dog which bore strict resemblance to the one she'd been using in the performances prior to the finals. So, she would swap the pet dog named Matisse, which she used before, with another named Chase for the finals to perform a tightrope trick, and her reason for the swap was because Matisse, who was initially being used, was afraid of heights, and thus would have been unable to perform the trick. This was, however, an excuse that many weren't willing to accept. It was so controversial that it led to a lot of complaints, leading to over 1,000 complaints being sent to the communications department. These complaints were mostly based on the fact that O'Dwyer misled the viewers, which ended up leading to her becoming the winner of the show. After an investigation was made, it was discovered that the broadcasting rules were broken by ITV, and the show's communications manager issued an apology to the viewers. It was such that ITV wanted to either refund the monies of those who had voted for O'Dwyer in the finals or donate it to charity. Another controversy happened when a 12-year-old appeared on the show in 2011. He, who goes by name Ronan Parkle, was quite a sensation throughout the season, wowing the judges and the audience and making it all the way to the final. He would eventually conclude the season as runner-up, losing to another contestant. As for the controversy, however, it happened shortly before his advancement into the final, when Simon Cowell was accused by an anonymous blogger for knowing Ronan 2 years before he auditioned for the show. And the blogger went as far as to accuse Simon of having signed the former into his record label. Simon was furious, denying the claims, terming them to be utter lies, and was even forced to talk about it during an episode of the show. This is what he had to say. "The first time I met Ronan was when he appeared on the show. He entered it of his own accord. He is 12 years old. This is a deliberate smear campaign, and it is my job as somebody who works on this show to make sure whoever this liar is exposed, and Ronan is treated the same way as everyone else, and it will be the public who decides." He would then involve the police into the matter. A few months later, the anonymous blogger finally came forward to confess, admitting that the whole story was made up. This came after he had been found out by the police and was eventually cautioned and urged to apologize to Simon. Then we have Alicia's controversial golden buzzer in 2018, which happened as Alicia chose Lifford Shillingford as her golden buzzer act. Lifford had wowed the judges when he did a version of Samuel Cooke's "A Change Is Gonna Come," and Alicia was so wowed that she had no choice but to press that button, sending him into the semifinals. However, the show's viewers weren't impressed, deeming Lifford to be unworthy of the golden buzzer, and it went as far as they digging out her past, revealing that she knew the former from way back when she appeared on Mystique. Alicia was forced to release a statement to defend her golden buzzer choice. She would insinuate that she doesn't know him that well, but only knows his music. This is what she had to say. "He's not a friend. That sounds cold, but I don't have his phone number. I haven't seen him in years. When I say I know him, I know his music. I remember him from back in the day. There were shows that Mystique were doing that he was too. There was just a mutual respect and understanding between us." The audience, however, still hung onto their belief that Alicia's choice came as a result of bias, at least to a certain extent, and she most likely wouldn't have chosen Lifford if she had never known the latter in any way. Number 4. Back in 2014, in the 4th season of the show, a contestant by name Jessica Hobson cried on stage after her mic was cut off and her song choice slammed by Simon. Simon was also quite harsh to her, which was one of the reasons as to why she became emotional. Interestingly enough, there's more to the story and we could be tempted to just watch on the surface. Her song choice wasn't really her song choice per se, and she was set up by the producers of the show to go for it, according to speculations. She performed Single Ladies by Beyoncé, and when asked by Ant and Dec if she had anything to say, she responded saying it wasn't originally her song of choice, but was urged by somebody to go for it. This led to many theories, and fans began to question if it was a setup by the producers of the show. Eventually, there began to be claims that there are usually contestants on the show who get sought out by the producers and not everybody actually auditions for the show. Then we have the 2012 voting controversy where the viewers became very furious for being unable to vote despite paying their hard-earned money. It happened that fans were able to buy 3 votes in the show's voting app for their favorite acts. However, a technical glitch on the side of the app would lead to half of the votes not going through. When the glitch happened, the app was withdrawn for the rest of the semifinals, considering smartphones were a relatively new concept at that point in time. Investigations will later reveal that the app was unable to keep up with the huge demand. The controversy here, however, was that the viewers were misled since they were urged to purchase votes using an app and later the app would stop working. Although it was unintentional as reported by the producers, viewers will always be viewers, and there would of course be many among them who believe it was intentional and it was an attempt to alter the results. The show's producers will eventually apologize for the error, and the app would no longer be used for the rest of the semifinals. Simon being forced to publicly apologize for the judges' rude behavior. One of the most recent controversies which happened in this year's edition where the judges were slammed for their rude behavior towards a contestant. It happened in the semifinals when the magician Kamundu was performing his magic tricks on stage. Amanda, Bruno, and Simon pressed the buzzer, leading to an abrupt noise that would throw him off guard. Fans were furious at the judges, and they believed the judges were supposed to wait until the end to see what Kamun had before drawing a conclusion. In a haste to draw a conclusion, they pressed their buzzers and ended up hampering his success. As reports would have it, the judges were unable to see his performance from their seats, and thus their reaction. However, if this really was the reason for the actions, then it wasn't fair according to the audience. Due to the backlash, Simon was forced to apologize to Kamun, admitting to their rudeness to him and that it wasn't his fault. Fans still weren't willing to let go though, since it ended up eliminating him anyway, and the apologies weren't very sincere to them, and so they took to social media to voice their frustrations at the rude and appalling judges. Then we have the biggest BGT controversy yet, involving David Williams. David was dropped as judge for some rude remarks on a contestant, and according to reports, getting dropped led to him losing his edge, and he is no longer as funny as he would want to be and has been having sleepless nights as well as depressive thoughts. He is also suing the show for spying on him throughout his 10-year tenure, and it is as if they were specifically targeting him, with the cameras never being turned off whenever the show is on break and even when he's easing himself. He's furious with those behind the cameras and has filed a lawsuit against the show. There's now a back and forth between him and the show's producers, with the show prepared to defend itself over his claims. Aside from suing them for spying on him, he's also claiming unpaid wages that have been on hold since he got dropped. Things are such that even his fellow judges are distancing themselves from him, with Simon shutting down his claims, describing them as simply not true. If you say this is the biggest controversy in the show's history, then you will be right, as this thing started right back in 2022. The back and forth has only just started and will go on for a while. The Boogie Storm prison sentence. In 2016, a dance group Boogie Storm made their first appearance on Britain's Got Talent, making it all the way into the final, but finishing as second runners-up. In 2019, they would return to the show and this time make it into the semifinals. Then in 2020, a scandal will strike against a member of the group by name Christopher Griffins, who was charged for engaging in a sexual activity with a minor and was jailed for 3 years. The founder of the group, Lee Seddon, issued a public apology, and this is what he had to say. "Our hearts go out to the victim and to his family. We were left in shock when we heard about it via social media. We have not been in contact with Mr. Gittens since he left the group. He was with us in 2016 when he was a teenager and was in the pool of dancers who performed on Britain's Got Talent. He left sometime after that in about 2017. These offenses happened afterward. He would insinuate that Griffin's misdeeds were all his and had nothing to do with the group in general. The group distanced themselves from him and were no longer associated with him. A scandal that shocked many, and although it happened in 2020 after their appearance on the show, which was a year earlier, they were still somehow associated with it, with the newly found fame. Complaints of inappropriate dressing by Jennifer Lopez and Amanda Holden. In 2013, Jennifer Lopez made an appearance on the show and performed on stage, but viewers complained about her outfit and felt it was inappropriate for such a show, which many consider as a family show. The viewers weren't just furious at the show's producers for letting Jennifer Lopez appear on stage with such an outfit, they were also angry at Jennifer Lopez herself for not donning a more appropriate outfit. Jennifer Lopez had something to say after the backlash, and speaking on Radio 1 concerning it, she said, "I feel like I'm so tame. We wore it at Billboard and Britain's Got Talent said they wanted exactly the same. So I thought I'd wear the outfit in black. No one complained at Billboard. I think people just like to talk. It was a bodysuit. A lot of performers wear that these days. It is standard stage clothes. I'm not going to walk down the street like that." She basically didn't speak out to apologize but to defend herself, and that she wasn't to be blamed since it was allowed by the show and it has become the norm these days. Amanda Holden also received backlash for inappropriate dressing, especially one time in 2017 when her revealing outfit sparked over 663 complaints to the Ofcom. Amanda, however, was said to have expected the backlash, not paying any heed to it and insinuating that she wasn't going to stop wearing whatever she wants. Amanda Holden swearing on live TV. In a terrifying and haunting magic act performance which occurred in 2019, Amanda Holden was so terrified that she ended up swearing on stage. This was the primary controversy of the show in 2019. She was called on stage to take part in the haunting act, and at one point it became a bit too overwhelming for her, and she would unintentionally shout out a swear word before immediately closing her mouth after realizing what she had done. She was initially very uncomfortable after being invited on stage, and as the act went on and they moved further away from the stage, she became more and more uncomfortable. Then when the performer by name Agatha took her by the shoulders and brought her back to the clear view of the audience, upon turning around expecting to see the former and instead seeing someone else, she blurted out the word. She would, however, recover quickly and would immediately apologize to the audience. It was something that happened in the spur of the moment, and she couldn't be blamed. She would reveal how the experience was a terrifying but an amazing and thrilling one, but however wouldn't want to experience it again. A little controversial moment, but no one held it against her, as anyone else in her place would most likely have reacted in the same way. And that's it for our video. Did you enjoy it? If you did, then hit the like and share button and make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more of these kinds of videos. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.